Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Cockings. Welcome back for another discussion, theorization, and analysis. But this week, or this episode anyway, a comparison, the old to the new, both in the future and both different in the futures.
That's right. We're looking at Combadges today. Specifically, the All Good Things Combadge, the only other real future, alternate future Combadge. And, of course, the Picard one, the new one, which bears quite a few resemblances to the All Good Things one. But yeah, we want to talk about each and what we prefer and things.
I mean, this is one of those. I mean, obviously, there's a picture on the screen right now, but obviously you can see that I've got one of our friend Brett Barlow's replicas. It's a different material set, which is why it looks a little bit different, but it's pretty close. And then a resin replica based on original ones. So don't take it as exact, but take both as a good example of what they are similar and different. I mean, this was one of those, like, for me, let's see what we think personally first. For me, this is one of those nicer surprises of Picard, and they kept doing clips and images where they never quite showed it. They always sort of cut it off. They kept that right until the end, and even to the point of we both guessed what it looked like based on a picture. We sort of knew internally at least what it wasn't looking like. But I think when we finally knew it was based on a cap that one of the production team wore at a panel, and they had it on a. It was like, oh, that is what it looks like. But we kind of knew what it was looking like from the first trailer, and I was like, that is, I get what they're doing. There's logic there. It's still Discovery linking. We'll get into that in a minute, but at least they are lucky, and there's some semblance of linking to All Good Things and what should be the future one, or at least could be. So it was like, this is a pretty decent Combadge. And that's impressive because it's such a wheel, and reinventing the wheel is difficult, but also exciting if they get it right, you know? So that was my thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts are I'm also glad they went that direction. It does tie in with All Good Things. It kind of gives that, even though if you remember the episode Parallels, there's many different versions of everything. So even though All Good Things was one, it was just a Q-created timeline, but it's still a timeline. There's still that visual link. I mean, at first glance, most people won't even see much of a difference, besides the fact that the top of the bars are cut off. Yes. But there's a few other subtle differences to the Picard one, which, yeah, take it or leave it, right?
It is very similar in a sense to the Discovery Enterprise, how most people, because they're not as distinct ships as we are, will say, oh, it's the same ship, just, a few bits are different. But as I always say, and we've done comparison renders, every single element is different. The neck is different, the nacelles, the pylons, the bridge module. Nothing in that ship is the same. But it feels similar. That's impressive. Same with these Combadges, beyond the obvious, it's missing the top bits. They feel very similar, even though they are very, very different. So that's a good job for them to sort of capturing that lightning in a bottle feel again.
Yeah, as I said, one of the most noticeable things, of course, they cut the top of the bars off on the Picard one. I prefer the All Good Things one, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It feels way more Star Trek. It looks better. The Picard one looks fine, but I don't like the bars are cut off. It feels unfinished to me almost. That being said, they did leave the one side longer, same as the All Good Things one, which is fine. But they've shifted the center line over and narrowed it quite a bit, and that's very reminiscent to tie in with the Discovery split delta. They're linking to their own creation essentially,
which would make sense. And also, we wish we liked Discovery more, or Discovery's a better show, because it would be better for us. But yeah, I mean, that was, how lucky were they that the All Good Things happened to have a split? That was already part of it. And unlike every other Combadge, if I take the backing off, you see that it is an open delta, which is, again, the first of its kind. Obviously, you put on a thing, it then closes, but I mean, it's open. And same thing with the Discovery. They did keep that an open badge, which is unusual, but it allowed it to look very stylistically different to older Combadges and yet be very faithful in its own way. So they were very lucky there. But yeah, this one certainly has more of a unique feel to it. But also you do lose the delta more easily. It's less distinct. But it was always a very cool Combadge, and the fact that, I would consider this as canon as you can possibly get, because yes, every future we see it as alternate, but we see it in every alternate future. Literally, they had the forethought to them, all of them. We saw it in the All Good Things future, obviously. We saw it in Endgame, that future, we saw Captain Geordie LaForge of the Challenger in the Timeless future for those brief moments. He was just a cameo on a screen, but they had enough thought to put him in that badge. And the one with Jake Sisko in the future and Nog and such, again, same Combadge, continuously used. I think it's like 6 times over the course of 2 shows, which is a lot of times. That is the committed future one, you know?
No, the only time it's really different is Future Imperfect with Riker and Command of the Enterprise, where they got the bars indicating rank behind.
But of course, that's a Romulan hallucination, so that's irrelevant anyway.
Well, it's not even a Romulan, it's an alien.
Yeah, well, it's true. Yeah, you're right.
You always think it's the Romulan, but
yeah, I always forget the double reveal because it's such a tightly crafted double reveal. Whereas that's no longer canon, although they could probably fit it in if they really wanted to in between, because All Good Things anyway takes place in 2395, 4 years before this. So if they really wanted to force it in, they could.
And not that it's canon, but don't forget the Renegades one.
Yeah, brilliant.
Because it's got the split down the delta, and it's got the 2 bars just turn the other way. So it's like they took this design and then turned the bars, essentially.
Yeah, love the Renegades design. That was a great reinvent the wheel, and that was also a sense
Scott
of
Nakata.
Scott Nakata, well, good friend of the channel, and that was again, the splitting nature of the Federation. We're darker than we've ever been. Let's make it split. Now this one, the advantage I think of the Picard one is that it looks a lot sharper. I mean, losing the bars highlights the delta in a way this one never could, and it feels very sharp. But I do think this one feels the sleeker. By having the unified bars in the middle, this one having them so differentiated makes this big one feel so thick and unwieldy.
Feels chunky.
Chunky, exactly. It loses all that sleekness. It feels sharp, but it's chunky sharp. And yeah, clearly the delta, I think that split should have been thicker, definitely. This is definitely just they got their wish. They got a Discovery Delta without doing Discovery Delta. So it's very clever of them, their marketing department, but it should have been, 25% thicker, the line. Why are you laughing, Therese? Why are you laughing, Stuart? Everyone knows why everyone knows why he's laughing. But that's the thing. It's remarkably respectful and yet its own direction. So I give them all credit for it. Although one of the things that I think is subtly controversial is that for the first time in a long, long time since, I guess, Wesley Crusher's acting ensign badge, is that they've now got, unlike every Combadge, which is a gold backing, this now has a silver backing, and I originally thought that was a mistake. And so when we had Brett make R1, he had a gold delta, but I mean the silver backing.
I requested the gold instead of the silver. Yeah.
And when you have a silver delta and a silver backing, it becomes so much more 2-dimensional, and that surprises me no end.
And classier looking. It looks better with the 2 colors. It gets lost very easily when it's all one color, and I think that's part of the aesthetic they're going for, because it is a murkier, grayer version of Starfleet, I guess. So maybe that all ties in for that. I don't know if that was their thought process necessarily, but I
think they're also trying to make it just different. Keep it as everything they can change to keep away from the classic look is good for them. It's more marketable as their own thing. I mean, look at the Pips; they're now silver as well. So they're kind of flipping a lot of things for no reason, just to make them different. And it does. It feels a lot more basic and a lot more just not even functional. Does it feel more fan filmy? I don't know. It kind of loses something.
It does feel kind of fan filmy now that you've said that.
Which is weird. It's such an odd thing to say, but it does feel less. But as a concept, it's good. Like, it's a solid concept. But what a weird choice. Now, I could see if they'd made like the Commodore's one be special, but make it around standard. But we see multiple officers; they're all wearing the same type. So it's interesting. It's a distinct choice.
Bottom line, I was just here to compare the two, and you can see the similarities between them for sure. And I really appreciated that when we first saw the hints of them, what they were going to look like. It's like, oh, well, at least they're kind of paying attention to what's going on in the future. But yeah, I just chalk it up to multiple realities, like in parallels. There's just so many versions. This is just one of the alternate ones. So, and for that, it works just fine.
Yeah, and the fact is, with Discovery, where they often took the path of most difference just for the sake of it. The Klingon ships, for example, Klingon makeup. It's we'll make it look as different as we can because effect. To actually have a badge which takes the opposite approach and says, right, let's make it be appropriate is so refreshing. I mean, that is what they should have done from day one. That was a mistake on their part. They're sort of rectifying. But at least, $100 million in of 3 seasons, they're finally learning to be a bit more appropriate in their eras or whatnot. In some ways, rather not necessarily others. But I mean, it is still very different. I mean, these aren't identical replicas, but I mean, all the sizing is different. The delta's different. Losing the top, the feel of the bottom, the fact these connect differently. Again, it's totally different, but you know where it's coming from. And so for all credit for them for that. It's a good looking badge, if more plain. Somehow more plain, which is weird. I would love to see a gold. I'd love to see a fan make a gold variant. I think that would probably help a lot.
Yeah, I would prefer a gold one personally. But
yeah, better than it could have been. So well done, you guys. Because I mean, the Delta is like the Combadge. That's like an iconic piece of history.
You know the routine. Let us know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification icon as well, because we love comparing things, especially when there's a lot of stuff to compare, and there is in Picard. There's going to be a lot more coming up. So we're going to do side-by-side comparisons, and we love doing that kind of stuff because a lot of people don't really consider doing it. And like we said, at first glance to the average viewer, oh, it looks the same. But there's usually a lot of differences. So that's what Trekyards is for. As Samuel says, we do the work, so you don't have to. But yeah.
Oops. Because you can basically come on our channel and find all these great things. And we try. We really, really do try. And yeah, check out the videos. But if you want to join our live videos, because they're great, because we get to interact with all of you and the super chats, that's what helps the channel go. Because if you do tune into our videos and enjoy what we do on a weekly basis and daily basis, especially when these big shows happen, then joining our lives and paying a $5 super chat makes all of the difference. Because if enough of you think that way, helps us fund the channel, helps us be confident to continue the channel, because the amount of time, this video is not worth the time to make it financially. But it is because other people help support other ways, and we know you guys enjoy it. The fact is we don't charge for our content, but we do need the support of people to help. And if enough of you help, it all comes together, and then everyone gets more and more free content, which is amazing. So if you can support, please do. Patreon's another great way, monthly thing, or a one-time donation, or just like, subscribe, and make sure to click that bell notification next to subscribe, because it actually makes a difference as well. Yeah.
It does. So until next time, guys, he's Commander Cocky.
He's Captain Foley. Didn't faze me.
Oh, I know. It doesn't at this point, because anyway. Bye, guys.